Hello all, I find myself at Oban, just at the Oban terminal. I'd driven here, I didn't take the ferry or anything yet, I just down here just now, just having a look around. So, yeah, I finished my shift yesterday on a late shift and I decided to drive up, I drive across the country, the Scottish country, to the small town of Oban. I drove through the small hours. It was dark, obviously, because it was a late shift. I finished my work at 20 past 11. Then I just basically headed off straight from there, drove through the night. So when I wake up, I've got a nice morning to look at, and I'll drive back during the day, during the daylight, because I'm working again tomorrow. So I thought, that's a good idea. Worked 7 days in a row, so I thought I would get here, get a nice early morning sunrise kind of thing here at Oban, the Scottish town of Oban, the west coast of Scotland. I'll take videos and pictures for you, okay? Yeah, so I'm just in the car at the moment. I'm parked here at the centre of Oban, just close to the ferry terminal. What I've done is I roughed it basically. I worked the late shifts on the buses, parked at the bus, went home, grabbed a flask, a couple of blankets, set off from Dundee. That's where I stay, by the way, Dundee. So I set off from Dundee and driven across the Scottish countryside. Took the A85 route through Crieff, Craiglarg, Tyndrum, and that's just to name a few places that I drove through, Loch Ernhead, etc. And I ended up here. It was 115 odd, 116 miles. 116 mile drive from Dundee to Oban. The route that I taken, I followed the A85. That's the A85. It goes from like Perth, Crieff, etc. So just basically when I got here, it was still dark because I wanted to get the early morning sun. So when I arrived here, I just chose a safe, secure spot, locked up the doors, and just rolled the seat back and try to get some sleep. I did actually fall asleep. I was knackered, so a bit. So I'm gonna have I took videos just at the terminal there at the nip out for a toilet and that. So what I'm doing is we have a quick cup of coffee, small sandwich, and then I'll have a wander around. I've been to Oban before, but that was a while ago. But I'll get some videos and pictures for you. And what I'm actually wanting to do when I drive back home, back to Dundee from Oban, I want to set up the dash cam and I'm going to record the whole journey from here to Dundee, going via the A85, the A85. So I'm going to record all of that, and then I'll replay it back on I'll edit it so that it's going to be sped up probably so many times. It took me just over 2 hours, 2.5, actually no, it took me just under 3 hours, because it's quite a windy road and that, and I was taking my time and everything. It was dark, there wasn't any traffic, so, but it took me just under 3 hours to get from Dundee to Oban. 2 hours 45 minutes. I stopped a couple of times for a few minutes and that. So on the way back I'll be sort of a similar time. But obviously the video isn't going to last. I'm not going to have it lasting 2 3 hour long video, so I'll speed it up and you'll get to at least see the sped up motion of the video, and you'll get the footage of the scenery of the drive back. That's the idea anyway. And I'll drive back, obviously this being November the 2nd, November the 3rd. It's obviously going to get dark about 4:30, 5 o'clock. So I've got to obviously leave here about back at 1 to get all the daylight footage. So anyway, I'm going to get my so-called breakfast, a flask of coffee, smoked sandwich, and then I'll go for that wander around, picture video around about Oban for you with the phone camera. And then I'll get my dinner somewhere. I saw that Witherspoons earlier, so I'll go there. And then after that, I'll be leaving here at about the back of 1. I'll set up the dash cam and record the whole journey back, so you'll get to see the footage. But obviously, I'll be in fast motion. I'll try and splice it all together so that that's how it'll work. Okay, so I'm going to get something to eat and then I'll get video and photographing around the bit of Oban for you. So I just did High Street, I'm near enough. That shop there, I bought a jacket out of there 21 years ago. It's about this time in year 2000. So it looks as though it hasn't changed much. It's still called the Tweed House. I've toured about Scotland for years, like, so, I remember that same visit. I went to the Highland Theatre, which is just up there, and I watched, it's a cinema as well, I watched the live bike band sort of thing. And then the following night I went there and watched the Harrison Ford film, What Lies Beneath. I remember it well, I just remember that doing that particular time, 21 years ago. But I've been here, like, on occasions since then. But just looking at the old shop where I bought a fairly expensive jacket many years ago. So, got a nice harbour behind me as well, really nice. So I'll turn it around, I'll carry on filming for you, okay? So this is an alternative route if you want to avoid the steps. Like if you've got a pram or a wheelchair or something like that. I'm going up the steps just to get there. It's just right in front, so I'll make my way there. So that's McCaig's Tower just up ahead. That's the alternative route if you want to avoid the steps from the car park. Then you've got this alternative route. In just part of Oban Centre, I've walked up the steep brae to it. I mean, I need the exercise anyway. But it's quite a steep walk, so I'll let you know that if you're wanting to walk up to it. It's been a while since I was here, a few years ago. I mean, I've been here since the year 2000, but it's probably a good 5 years ago maybe. Anyway, I'll get myself in there and get some videos for you. So I'm up at the McCaig's Tower viewpoint, and you get a really nice view, magnificent view of Oban down there and beyond. So I've been lucky because the weather's been it's been fair, it's been quite bright, clear. So it's really nice up here to sit myself down, get a nice cup of not a flask, it'll just be a bottle of water. And parked down there where the ferry terminal is. So I walked all the way through the town area and up to the McCaig's Tower. So it's not bad at all. I'll get the ferry passing in the background as well for you. There is an information board, like a viewfinder board up there as well. It tells you the names of all the scenery in the background, the mountains and that. I did get a still photo of that, so you could pause the video and compare it up if you want. Yeah. So I'll be making my way down fairly shortly, getting something to eat, and then I'll be leaving here about the back of 1 because I want to get the dash cam to record the daylight footage of the drive back to Dundee. But I'll continue filming up just now and get some pictures and videos and stuff, etc. Okay. That, by the way, with the island in the back there with the mountains on it, with the clouds scraping the top, that's the Isle of Mill, over the distance, the Isle of Mill. So there's a closer view of it. I'll zoom in and show you the Isle of Mill. So I've been lucky with the weather, being the west coast. Yeah, I've been lucky with the weather. I've striked it lucky with the weather. It was a spur of the moment decision to come here anyway. I was driving the second half of my bus and I was just thinking about it and saying, oh, come on, I'm just going to come home. So, done well with the weather. Normally, being the west coast, it's usually raining, cloudy, misty, and you don't get much of a view. Well, that's my experience anyway. Most of the time when I've visited the west coast, it's been like that for me, and I've kind of heard similar stories from other people as well. The west coast the weather could be quite unpredictable because it's just off the Atlantic Ocean. So, but I've been lucky so far. I've got the view of the Isle of Mill for you. So I'm just going to get heading back down there. So I'm just making my way down from McCaig's Tower. John McCaig was an architect. I just done a micro research on Google about it. It was built for a lasting monument for his family, and it provided work for the stonemasons as well during the winter months. Now, I just done a very quick Google search just in walking down here, just to give you a bit of info on it. You just Google it up, you got all the stuff on there about it. So. Right, just making my way down to get my dinner. So, I'm still on my way down. It was built about late 1890s, round about that time. So, it's about 120 odd year old.
Appreciate it.
Dinner time. So that's his fed and watered. Had something to eat there at Witherspoons. Now I'm just going to head back home to Dundee. Like I say, I'll get the dash cam on and I'll be heading back along the A85. I'll record as much as I can using the dash cam, and like I say, I'll speed up the film so you don't have to like watch 3 hours of video try and multiply it by how many times to get it shortened down to a reasonable length. This video might even be in 2 parts. I might do a video part 1 like being in Oban, all the areas that I've shown you in Oban, like the docks, the big ships and that, and the big cage tower. And then I'll do part 2 where you'll get the dashcam footage, just solely for that. Rather than do it this and the dashcam might be still a bit too long. So you get a nice view of the tower actually from where the part. Right, I'm going to make tracks so I can get back during the daylight. Get the film and video footage for you. Okay, so thanks for just now. Bye.